Welcome to GCTV, ladies and gentlemen, for the final time, not just of our week here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, for the final time this season. Can you believe that from the start of the season, back in Doha in late February, early March, all the way through now to Saudi Arabia here in Riyadh, we have come down to the final day, the GCL Super Cup final. My name is Mark Lewis. We are live from the King Abdullah Financial District, and we are ready to bring you the best 6 teams of the entire week. We have the defending seasonal champions in Canstars, powered by the Iron Dames. We have the defending Super Cup champions in the Riyadh International, powered by Kingsland Equestrian. We have first-time final appearances in the Stockholm Hearts. We have teams that are looking to continue the domination, like the Shanghai Swans, who won the quarter-final. They won the semi-final. No team has ever won 3 competitive rounds back-to-back in the GCL Super Cup. We have horses that are looking to try and keep a clean sheet for the very first time throughout the entire competition. We have the fairy tale story of the Scandinavian Vikings, who snuck into the quarter-final, jumped well in the semi, and now all of a sudden the team riders of Gilles Thomas are looking to try and complete a very, very unlikely yet remarkable GCL Super Cup win. Let's take nothing away from Point Break and from Killer Queen, how good the 2 horses for the Swans have been. And Owen McMahon and Mila and Shah George of Christian Kukuk, how good were they in that semi-final as well. All of those storylines, all of those moments have led us to the final 6 teams in the GCL Super Cup. We are getting ready for the Walk of Champions. We will discuss the teams. We will see what is being put together from the course designer. And we'll chat to some riders and get some perspective as to how and why a GCL Super Cup final is so testing. For now, let's go into the warm-up arena for the very first time. Rosie Turner standing by. Rosie, welcome to a GCL Super Cup final. The sun is shining. It is quite literally the final day of the year. And I get the feeling that all the riders, us included, are getting that feeling, getting that energy of a last day, big nerves final afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. And I have to say, it's, you know, we're getting to the golden hour here in Riyadh. It really is stunning. Look at that backdrop. That is the King Abdullah Financial District, and we are so lucky to have that as our backdrop for the final today. In fact, we've had it all week, and it really has not disappointed. Now, if you keep turning around, because just behind me, the Walk of Champions is just getting set up, and we can go and talk to a few of the teams now. Canstars find themselves in unfamiliar territory tonight because they have to jump first. They were last in the semi-final, so they are having to jump first tonight. Unfamiliar for them from the season. I wonder if we can grab a quick word of them. Sophie, can I grab a quick word of you very quickly? Ahead of tonight's final, the team are having to jump first. How are you guys feeling? What's been the chats beforehand?
I think we are all very positive, and we are already happy to be in the final, so we will try to make the best of it today.
Absolutely. Well, good luck. Let's go back here to see a few of the other ones. Scandinavian Vikings, what a fairy tale story that would be. I think they were 13th in the championship and now in the finals here, and they're just having a few team talks there, getting ready for the Walk of Champions. You've got Donald Whittaker, you've got Sarah and Yerv Reeling as well. Nicola Pohl in there. She won't be jumping for them tonight, but she was brilliant for the team the rest of the time. We've also got Prague Lions coming in to the ring here. Thibaut Spitz, so let's just grab a quick chat with you ahead of tonight. What an amazing night for you last night. You're back in for the team this evening. What's the thoughts of the team this evening?
Yeah, I think we have a good team. I think the horses jumped good already. Of course, I think yesterday was a big class, so I hope he recovered well. But yeah, I felt good this morning, so We'll try everything.
Fernando trying to put you off then, which is so mean, Fernando. You're not jumping for the team tonight. But yeah, exactly. Get out of it, Fernando. But it's been a fantastic few days as well. Exactly. How is the team feeling, Peter? Come on, you've come in now. How is the team feeling?
We have the best team feeling from everybody, I'm sure.
You know his name? Peter the Boss. He's not the
boss.
boss.
Peter the Boss. Well, let's see if that happens this evening. Good luck, guys. Good luck. We've got more of the teams behind. We've got Stockholm Hearts and obviously Shanghai Swans as well, who will be going last this evening. They've got that advantage, Mark. I tell you what, it's good fun down here, but I know that in a couple of hours' time it will be full focus.
All right, thank you very much, Rosie Turner. How is it that after all this time, nobody has called him Peter de Bos until now? I like that. Niels Bruinseels, clap to you. That is fantastic. Rosie, will come back to you in a few moments' time. As we say, the Walk of Champions getting underway very, very shortly, trying to go quite literally behind the wall, behind the entrance gate to where the riders will be making their way through. So if you could imagine, just on my right-hand shoulder here, there is a giant wall, the giant scaffolding. That is the entrance gate. That is about to open up, and all of those teams that you saw with Rosie Turner now will then make their way through that into this carpet and into the main arena ahead of tonight's big GCL Super Cup final. We saw a couple of the teams there in the lineup. Let's maybe remind you as to who has failed to make this final and who is then going to compete tonight. Let's start then with those, unfortunately, that did not progress out of the semi-final. Remember, the semi-final is the harshest round. 50% of the field gets cut at the end of the semi. And these are the teams that then did not make it through into tonight's big final. Spare in thoughts for Valkenswaard United, who missed out only on time, I'm afraid. Missing out on time. Rome Gladiators, New York Empire, Istanbul Warriors, Mexico Amigos, and a bit of a surprise, one of the top 4 teams in the Doha Falcons not making it through, missing the cut, and unfortunately missing out on the final day of the GC Riyadh playoffs. But with 6 out means 6 go in. And now these are the teams that will be starting today, competing for that big prize, looking to try and wrestle that title away from Riesebeck International. In starting order, Canstars, powered by the Iron Dames, the Scandinavian Vikings, Prague Lions, powered by the Czech Equestrian Team, Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M We Love Horses, Riesebeck International, powered by Kingsland Equestrian, as we said, your defending champions, who now today will see Owen McMahon, Philip Weishout, and Christian Kukuk with Checker, Kobe and Mila coming out. And then the final team to come out later on tonight will be the Shanghai Swans. I remind you about the dominance of the Shanghai Swans over the Super Cup. They were forced to jump the quarterfinal after an indifferent season. They finished in 10th place, certainly lower than a team of that stature would have hoped for. But they come out and make a massive, massive statement by going on to win the quarterfinal. They know that there is an alternating man between Christian Alman and between Max Kuhner. Daniel Deusser and Ben Meyer are the fixtures in that team. They then come to the semi-final. They dominate again and win the semi-final. And because of that, will now be the last team to go in today's final. Ben Meyer, Daniel Deusser and Max Kuhner on Electric Blue P will be the final team to come out in round 1. I say that specifically because we need to talk about the format that's coming up a little bit later on as well. And that will be explained to you later. For now, though, let's show you what took place in that semi-final, remind you of the dominance of the Shanghai Swans, and give you some perspective as to how that 50% of the field got cut and who then makes it through to today's final.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Riyadh for the most unforgiving rounds of the Global Champions League Super Cup. This is the semi-final. Vrieling is on Helwell du Chabu. Looking for the small jump, gets the small jump. Here comes Vrieling with a score that might send them into the final. That is a clear round from Vrieling. The Scandinavian Vikings are writing a fairy tale. Prague Lions, powered by a Czech Equestrian Team, really rides for those 4 and gets him over the back wheel. Where will they go? It is 2:20. They go in front by 3 seconds. Gilles Thomas, Luna van den Hof, last line, really is gone. It is 1 Prague Lions, it is 2 Scandinavian Vikings, 3 Valkenswaard Shanghai Swans, with Ben Meyer, with Christian Alman and with Daniel Deusser. For the qualification, the Swans are through and take the lead in the semi-final. Deusser is clear again, as was Ben Meyer. Doha Falcons. That's the next obstacle, and that is gone. You can say that it is over and out for the Doha Falcons with 3 teams still to go. Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M We Love Horses. Perfect. They're through for the first time. Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M We Love Horses, qualify for the final of the Global Champions League Super Cup. McMahon with Mila. for second place as they drop. Oh, how is that still standing? And that is also standing. It's a clear. McMahon jumps clear on Mila, and that makes it second place for Riesenbeck International, powered by Kingsland. The Cannes Stars, powered by Iron Dames. Another touch on the back rail. Eckermann tied into this line. Not ideal. Oh, another touch. It all rattles. Where is she? Where is she? She's good for the time. She's good for the time. And at the cost of Valkenswaard United by the skin of their teeth, Cannes Stars, powered by Iron Dames, qualify for the final. But by what? 2.5 seconds.
Doesn't that give you some perspective as to just how tight things were for the Cannes Stars, eventually qualifying only on time? It is not a position that the team that dominated the season would have wanted to find themselves in. Because of that, they have a very early start. They are first to go today. Sophie Hinners and Iron Dames, My Prince, Kathrin Ackermann and Kalamandia, we know, an outstanding combination there. And then, well, Jana Frederica Meyer-Zimmermann and Messi van het Rootershof, what a performing pair that is as well. Although Messi and Jana did jump the Super Grand Prix last night. There are a handful of riders and teams, in fact, that do have horses competing in the Super Grand Prix last night and jumping the final tonight. That's an issue of freshness. It's an issue of rest. We'll talk about that later on today with Frederik de Backer as well. For now, though, before the Walk of Champions, let's go down to Rosie Turner one final time. I believe we are moments away from seeing the official start of that. Rosie, guide us through what is about to happen and go on and let us into these teams for the Walk of Champions.
Yeah, we've been lucky enough to see the Walk of Champions every day this week, and it really does set the day off to a fantastic start. You can see the gates are currently shut behind me. They should be opening any minute now for these teams to come through into the Walk of Champions, and it's a time to really celebrate these teams before the competition begins. I can see past the walls all the lights starting to flash. The excitement is certainly building. If we just turn around, and you can actually see all of the teams lined up, ready to go with their flags. Cannes Stars obviously coming in first this evening, followed by the Scandinavian Vikings, Prague Lions, Stockholm Hearts. We've got Riesenbeck International there, Shanghai Swans, and all the others as well. So 6 teams coming in this evening, 3 riders per team, as we know, but 4 riders have been contributing to every single team this week. So we need to remember that it might be 3 riders jumping this evening, but 4 of them have contributed to the team. Hopefully these walls are going to open any second now as the teams are lining up. And as I said, the golden hour is starting to happen. You can see the sky is blue. It's a really beautiful evening here in Riyadh, the perfect setting to our finals mark. And I'm so excited for the final Walk of Champions. I can really feel the buzz in the air here. Everyone's getting ready. All the staff are here ready to make sure this goes as smoothly as it's gone before. Let's hope these doors are about to open any minute now. Scandinavian Vikings looking tense, looking prepped. I know the Prague Lions were joking around before, but Peter de Vos, or Peter de Boss, as we now might call him, is said we do need to focus. I know Anna Kalnarova will not be pleased if that team aren't focused. They are the manager for the team. Mark, I think we are about to start.
I'll tell you what, I'm never going to call him Peter de Vos ever again. I don't care for how long I live. I will no longer refer to him as Peter de Vos. It will only ever be Peter de Boss, 100%. Right, Rosie, I am trying to keep an eye over my shoulder here to see if and when these gates are about to open. You're right, hopefully momentarily, and we will get underway for the GCL Super Cup final. I do, by the way, see the teams starting to huddle together. I think we are moments away. So let's go on and join the live feed. Ladies and gentlemen, the Walk of Champions for one final time in 2024. These are the competing teams in the GCL Super Cup final.
Stars made it through, nearly causing the biggest upset of the semi-final. Maybe it could have been the biggest upset of this entire Super Cup. Cannes Stars finished the semi-final in 6th place, with only 6 teams going through on the same score as the teams in 7th and in 8th. In the end, they were less than 2.5 seconds faster than Valkenswaard United, and so it was their combined time that took them into the final. The 2024 champions, the revamped, rebranded, reborn team, just with a bit of luck, to make it into the final of the Super Cup tonight. For tonight, the team consists of Sophie Hinners with Iron Dames My Prince, Katrin Eckermann with Iron Dames Kalamandia, and Janne Frederike Meijer-Zimmerman with Messi van het Ruitershof, who jumped yesterday's Super Grand Prix as well. And so the question is, how fit will he still be? Messi van het Ruitershof, does he still have enough gas in the tank? Because this is just like yesterday, a 2-round competition. The surprise of the semi-final is the qualification of Scandinavian Vikings, the team led and managed by Geir Gulliksen. Made it through in the semi-final on a score of just 8 penalties over the 3 riders and 3 rounds rhythm. On Thursday it was Donald Whittaker with a clear, Nicola Pohl on 8 and Jud Vrieling on 8. And Sarah Vingralkova, she comes in for this final after having jumped the quarter-final. She'll also jump the final. Nicola Pohl jumped and quarter-final and semi-final. Donald Whittaker came in from semis and now will also jump the final. What can they produce this evening and this final of the Super Cup? Pohl, Whittaker and Vingralkova. The Prague Lions, powered by the Czech equestrian team. Bit of a scary moment in the quarter-final as none of their riders jumped clear. That was Thibaut Spitz, Fernando Martinez Sommer and Peter de Vos. In the semi-final, the upgrade with the clears from Bruinseels and from Fernando Martinez Sommer. Spitz jumped for 8 on King van Essenen. Spitz remains on the team, but will bring in Impress Kevaert Kattenheijen, who jumped outstanding in yesterday's Super Grand Prix. He is now on the team with Peter de Vos on to Piet Larocque, who will make her first appearance, comes fresh out of the gate, and Bruinseels stays on board with Origi van de Vosberg. For Prague, this will be their 3rd appearance in a final. Stockholm, later to come, have never made a Super Cup final. Scandinavian Vikings and Can Stars.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Prague Lions, powered by Czech Equestrian Team. Our next team we welcome into the arena, it is the Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M We Love Horses.
And there they come for the first time in their existence. Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M We Love Horses, make the final of a Super Cup. They have been a top 4 team ever since they came on the Global Champions League. And so every time they went straight into the semi-final, but until this year never made it out and never into the final itself. This year it is different. Qualification created by Olivier Philippart with his 9-year-old Poppe Mieke, Malin Bayard-Jonsen with H&M Indiana, and the clear of Julien Epaillard on Donatello Doge. For this final, it is Philippart on Katanga, it is still Indiana with Malin, and Julien Epaillard on the 2023 Super Grand Prix winner, Donatello Doge.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M We Love Horses.
Are they favourites? Where should they land? What is expected
And now we welcome into the arena our next team, our
podium should be within reach for the Stockholm Hearts.
Kingsland Equestrian.
Riesenbeck International, powered by Kingsland Equestrian. In a battle all season long with the eventual champion Scan Stars, powered by Iron Dames. Riesenbeck has had to settle for second. But here we see the 2022 and 2023 league champions and the 2023 Global Champions League Super Cup winners, the first ever team to win the Super Cup as champions. And the 3 strongholders, 4 strongholders of that team are on board.
from
Riesenbeck
Germany.
with McMahon and Mila. Mila, who jumped a double clear in last year's final. Weishaupt with Kobe, who will jump his first round in the Super Cup this weekend. And Kukuk with Checker, who is also on a very fresh horse. As Checker only jumped a small class in the beginning of the week. Schulze-Tophoff, McMahon, Weishaupt,
I give you
and
Riesenbeck
Kukuk.
International.
No Schulze-Tophoff
powered by
in this
Kingston
lineup.
Question.
It is all down to the Riesenbeck-based boys.
We welcome the Shanghai Swans.
And here come the hot favorites, the Shanghai Swans. Swans who are ranked as the team, rated as the team to win this Super Cup final. The redemption weekend for the Swans, who had a win in Shanghai, but were eliminated twice this season. Finished a languishing 10th place on the final standings, but a triple clear in the quarter-final, just 4 in the semi-final.
From Germany, Christian Alma.
And both Killer Queen and Point Break haven't made a single mistake just yet. They've jumped the quarterfinals clear, they've jumped the semi-finals clear, and now they can go into write history. Swans have already won the Super Cup in the past in 2019, but no horse has ever jumped the perfect weekend with 4 clear rounds over the 3 finals, over the semi, the quarter and the final. Point Break and Killer Queen are still en route for that feat. And in the middle, you'll find Electric Blue Pea with Max Kühner, the launching Global Champions Tour champion.
24 Global Champions League Super Cup final.
Meer, Deusse, Kühne and Ahlmann. This was the Walk of Champions. 6 teams with 3 riders over 2 rounds for the biggest trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, live here from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the final of the Global Champions League Super Cup. Don't go away too far, we will be back.
Dust to settle down, you'll be all alone thinking how everyone is singing out loud. It's time to break out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the riders will now walk the first course for this afternoon's Global Champions League Super Cup final.
Is that not just a beautiful wide shot of how things look here in the King Abdullah Financial District in the city of Riyadh here in Saudi Arabia for the very first time in the playoffs? a fantastic opportunity for us to end the season, to wrap the season in perfect fashion and hand out the prize, hand out the massive prize money as well as the trophy for the GCL Super Cup final. Razorback International, the defending champions, are in the final. Cannes Stars, the season champions, are in the final. The Shanghai Swans, who won the quarterfinal and won the semi-final, are in the final. So we have red-hot teams all competing for tonight's massive, massive triumph. So, we're going to talk to Gilles Thomas as well a little bit later on. You might be asking, well, what about Gilles Thomas? Falcons Riyadh United are not in the final. We want to get some reaction from the team who finished in 7th place. Heartbreakingly for Falcons Riyadh United. We also know that Gilles Thomas has a couple Belgian friends that are jumping here tonight from the Prague Lions and Thibaut Spitz, Peter Vos, Niels Braunseels as well, the Philipparts boys and the Stockholm Hearts. So there's a little bit of local Belgian flavor for Gilles to speak to as well. For now, though, let's take a flashback and let's remind you as to what took place in the playoffs in 2023 and remind you of that sensational win for Razorback International, becoming the first team ever to do the double as a season champion and then a Super Cup champion.
In the final of the Global Champions League Super Cup, as Razorback International two-time champions, they are the most dominant team the Global Champions League has ever seen. They've broken every record that exists, pushing and pushing and pushing. Look at the airplay of that mare. Final fence coming. Owen McMahon is over the last. And there's the rail. E15 is gone, the margin is gone. Kukuk and Checker head for home, because now no rails can fall. Imagine being in that saddle of Zinedine. Imagine being Philip Weishaupt. 3 left, 2 left, 1 left, in search of perfection. To find and to break the curse. They've broken the spell, and Razorback International, powered by Kingsland The Question, have won the Super Cup for the first time in 5 years. The champion also wins the Super Cup. This is what it means to all of them. The perfect season. And there releases it all, once knowing that they have done it. The winners, Razorback International, powered by Kingsland The Question.
Our highlights and reminder as to what took place yesterday, or not yesterday, I beg your pardon, what took place yesterday we're going to discuss in a moment. That is a look back as to what took place in 2023. Razorback International, as you heard Frederick de Backer state, finally breaking the curse as the season champions up until that point had never ever gone on to win the Super Cup. And last year it was finally done. Something for Cannes Stars to try and mimic this year around. Well, they'll be first to go. That might make life a little bit difficult, but can they try and do that double as well? Joining us in the studio, Gilles Thomas comes and takes a seat with us from Falcons Riyadh United, the team that finished in 7th only on time. Gilles, I imagine that's a difficult one to swallow, missing out on a spot in the final only on time. I know it's the sport. I know it can be heartbreaking. What's been the thoughts of you and your teammates missing the final?
Yeah, indeed, it was very close. We missed due to we were just only, I think, 2 or 3 seconds too slow. We had the same amount of faults as against Stars. Yeah, actually, I think we had 3 good rounds. We had 3 times 1 down, so that make 12 for the team. And every result counts, and yeah, it was good, but not good enough.
What did you think of that semi-final? I know it's a very difficult round, 50% fall away, so it's very challenging. It looked very big. It looked very, I don't want to say difficult, but of course it was. What was your take on the semi-final?
I think actually it was a very good class. As you see, the 6 teams that are now qualified for the final are 6 very strong teams. So in that way, it was a good semi-finals. Also, there were a lot of falls, but also not too much falls, not bad falls. So I think we can speak about very good semi-finals. And yeah, like I said, our team was just not good enough. It was a bit actually as all the years. Also in the overall, we ended up I think 8th, bit in the middle. We were long just in the top 4 or just out, and then at the end we missed also the top 4 by ending not so good in Rabat. And also in the semi-finals here was actually a bit the same. It was always good, but not good enough. It was a bit the same the whole year.
I know it's still very fresh, Gilles, but I wonder if there's been moments to look back at the season. I don't know if maybe Jan has had things to say to you as a team. Have you discussed it? How would you describe the year that was for Valkenswaard United?
Yeah, the year for us actually it started in Doha. I think there in Doha. Actually, we were on our way to win it, and then the host from John did something special. That's why he lost a lot of time, and he had a lot of time falls. And then after that, we were, I think, a lot of times in the top 5, but not so much on the podium. I think only twice, maybe, or 3 times at the end. So we were always a bit, in the middle. But if you want to end up high in the overall, you have to win sometimes, and that was not this year.
Talk to me about what you think is going to come here today. The final becomes very challenging. I know some of your friends in Thibaut Spitz is jumping, a lot of the Belgian boys for Prague Lions, the Philipparts brothers, etc. Has there been talk amongst you guys about what to expect, what they are hoping for in a very challenging round?
Yeah, okay, it's the first time that's here in Riyadh. Before it was always in Prague. I think here the arena is totally different than in Prague. So in Prague you know everything comes very quick, but here you have a bit more place between the jumps. So we were a bit waiting what the class will look like. But I think so far the whole week, also yesterday the Super Cup Grand Prix was always very nice built, horse friendly, and at the end not so much clears so far. And I think also the final will be a bit like that. It's also 2 rounds today, so I think at the end will be tough enough.
All right, talk about the 2 rounds. You made a really good point there. We maybe take a moment just to talk to you about the format of the GCL Super Cup final, because much like the Super Cup, nothing is very similar to what you see throughout the season of the GCL. Let's take a moment to just get a better understanding as to what's going to happen here tonight in the GCL Super Cup final.
The final of the Global Champions League Super Cup features the best 6 teams that qualified from the semi-final. This time it is a 2-round competition, with still 3 riders on each team and every result counting. The best team from the semi-final is last to go in the first round. But the best team in the first round will be last to go in the second round, sitting in pole position. And oh yeah, there is €2.5 million for the winner.
An explainer of just how the GCL Super Cup final is going to work from that start order at the end of round 1 into round 2. Gilles, try to put into perspective how challenging this is when you compare it to a normal GCL weekend.
Yeah, also here you have to compete with 3 riders, so that's already 1 more than as normal. We have no drop score here, so every round counts. And now in the final there are 2 rounds, so that means that actually 6 rounds for every team counts. And as you know, it can happen so much on only 1 round. So if you have 6 rounds, that counts. And also at this level, I think also I saw a bit the first round, but also the second round will be a long, big course. So at the end, we'll ask a lot from the horses and riders.
Who do you think looks really good, Gilles? Obviously, Shanghai Swans have been very strong, quarterfinal and the semi. You have champions in Cannes Stars. You have the defending team in Riesenbeck. The lineup is really, really strong. Who do you think is looking good tonight?
Yeah, like I said, I think it was the whole week very good build. That's why we got the 6 strongest teams also in the final. It starts again on 0, so actually, yeah, it's difficult to say. But if you see the names from riders that are in Shanghai Swans, I think they will be very strong. They won also already the quarterfinal and the semi-final. So I think they are in a good wave, in a good mood, in good shape. But yeah, today it's a new day. But yeah, it's difficult to say.
What do you think is going to be a winning score, Gilles? I think it's, if I recall, 7, by the way, 7 penalties is the lowest score ever recorded in a GCL Super Cup. That was the London Knights to go win on 7. No one has ever gone lower than 7. From what you've jumped this week, what do you think is a potential winning score in a final like this over the 2 rounds with the 3 riders?
Oh yeah, I didn't really walk yet the course. I just saw it from the side. But maybe this ring rides and jumps a bit easier than in Prague. In Prague it comes all very, very quick. Here it jumps a bit easier. But still, I think maybe the horses will be here a bit wider. It's also warmer for the horses here than in Prague. I think the result from 7, I don't think it will be beaten this year here.
Okay, let's see. Gilles, before I let you go, I know we're talking GCL, but I want to talk LGCT. You had an outstanding night yesterday, and I think you should be very proud of that. I'm sure you are. The year that you have had on the Longines Global Champions Tour with Luna, with Hermitage, can I ask you just for some reflection on how, as an individual, you've jumped this year with your wonderful horses and capping it off with a podium last night? You must be very proud.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable year. It started actually in Shanghai with my win. It was so nice that I could win for the first time Global Champions Tour Grand Prix. And then I think I had 3 podiums in a row, with being third in Madrid and second in Cannes. And it's so nice to have 2 good horses. And this year they were actually both in very good shape the whole year. Hermitage was last year a bit younger. Now he gained some experience. And then Luna, she's already a few years at the highest level. But also this year she had the experience, and I started to know her inside out. And it's just nice that I can go with both of them to the shows.
All right, Gilles, it's been a pleasure to watch you ride this year. Thank you very much. Enjoy the final. I wish you all the best for the rest of the year, and we look forward to seeing you a little bit later on in 2025. Gilles Thomas from Falcons Ride United joining us live in studio to give some thoughts on the disappointment of missing out, of course, but Falcons Ride United had to be the team that missed, I'm afraid, in 7th place. Also talking about some of his friends that will be jumping later on tonight in Thibaut Spitz, Peter de Vos, Niels Brownseals, the Philipparts brothers, etc. And of course reflecting on that outstanding season as an individual, getting onto the podium last night in the LGCT Super Grand Prix, and with Hermitage Cologne, with Luna as well. Maybe 2025 is going to be an even better year for Gilles Thomas. One of the fences that you are going to see here today is one of the famous Riyadh skyline fences. I know Frederick de Backer will give us more context on it in a few moments' time. But we asked Rosie Turner to go on and give a closer look, a better inspection on just how exactly to go about building this monster fence.
The Global Champions League Super Cup final this evening, I decided to come behind the scenes to have a look at some of the fences that are going to be used. We know it's going to be really big tonight, but it looks like one of the fences hasn't quite been built yet, and I thought I'd give them a hand because this fence is the wall and it represents the King Abdullah Financial District, the skyline. You can't see much of it yet. Let me get building. And just the last 2 bricks to go. Here we go. Now, just to put into perspective about this wall, I am 176 centimetres. The wall is 165 centimetres. It is enormous, and the next time you'll be seeing this wall will be in the arena. Whew, I think I did a pretty good job there.
I must say, I asked Rosie Turner if there were numbers on the back of the bricks and just if it gave you any assistance in knowing how to go on and build that. She did burst my bubble and say, no, there are no numbers, don't be stupid. It makes you realize just with what precision the ground staff, the team that works with Uliana Vidzani, is able to have to make sure that that wall and every other fence that is currently in this ring is built to utter perfection. Because every single inch, every single centimeter matters. And because of that, it needs to be done with absolute precision. That is a closer look at just one of the many challenges that will be facing the riders here tonight in this GCL Super Cup final. Frederik de Backer, we've already seen that fence that Rosie Turner has taken a closer look at. I see you now looking very casual, very calm, very suave as well, by the way, in your dark suit in the sunset here in Riyadh. Mr. de Backer, let's talk about that fence and everything else that's been set up today to challenge these riders over the next 2 rounds.
This is it. This is the skyline. This is the skyline of the King Abdullah Financial District here in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. Actually jumping it from the other side, but just look at it. It almost feels like a cross-country, like an eventing fence. Here's Gilles Thomas. Here's Mark's guest with the improvised flags and wings. But look at all the bricks. We had a lot of faults on the walls yesterday. Well, also early in that Super Grand Prix, Mark, if you remember, at 3. This is at 4, even lighter bricks. This time, no gaps in between. It's a full-faced wall coming out of the turn. There's actually a potential. If we come here, you actually have 2 potential turns. You can go there where Sophie Hinners and where David Willow standing, or you can go there in between. That all depends on how the time allowed will be set. And then you have to come inside, slightly jump it on the angle and go over to fence 5 to the historical buildings at 5 on 7 strides, more or less. Follows very quickly afterwards this technical line. We go to the other side to start it. It is the line 6 into the triple combination. Now this is where it's always interesting if you can walk the course yourself. If you walk this, or if you would measure this, or if anybody would give you the distances, this is a waiting, not short, but a quiet 7 into the triple combination, which is, what did I say? It is oxer vertical. So somewhere you need a little bit of punch, and it's still a waiting 7. Now this plank, if this would be a round rail, it would be challenged a little bit more, but nobody is going to just casually ride this plank. So lots of riders will take care of this plank, slow down, get the room at one side, but land in here, but with not the same pace. And I think that will create a little bit more space, room and time for the riders to get the 7 in. You can even move a bit to the outside and find your room on the 7 strides into, did I say 7? Yeah, 7. Into, no, 6, into the triple combination. If you come over here, you can perfectly see that the first 2 oxers are absolutely square, but that the vertical coming out is really, really tall. So that's traditionally in those triple combinations that the verticals are always slightly taller than the others. So oxer, real power. So you need a little bit of rhythm to get into that combination. And then you have to be able to slow down for the vertical, which actually sits already quite deep into the corner. There's one more line that I want to show you, and that is the last line, the line 11 to 12 to 13. It's the second plank of the course. So it doesn't feel as tall as the other one, this plank. And then you have to make your choice to the jump Saudi oxer. You can get there on a very, very direct 7, or on an outside waiting 8. Now we've seen quite a bit of faults on that fence in the previous days, so we'll have to wait and see, gentlemen, how this is going to play out. But yeah, you can see it already. You can see it here. It's a huge oxer. It's really wide at fence 12. Lots of width on it. Question is, if you get the direct 7, you'll easily stretch and easily cover. But you have to know, and that's standard for everybody, even if you have a normal landing, the 3 is always short. That means that you could protect yourself on the 3 and ride an outside 8, get to the base of the oxer, then it's those dreaded striped rails. If you come here, come here. The striped rails always jump difficult. I have to turn them around. That's how the Italian team has put them together. But the striped rails jump difficult. You'll get the small jump exposed to the back rail, and you'll still have to work for the 3 strides. So this is really a line about planning. It is sneaking up to your prey and just picking your right moment on 7 or on 8 strides, on the inside line direct, on the outside line on the 8. That's the question mark. Sneaking up on your prey, and then it has to be a leopard or something, Mark. What do you think about that animal?
Oh, yes, I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it. I will take it. I will take it. I will take it. It is a phenomenal close of our journey down the animal kingdom over these last couple of days. If you've only joined us for today's show, Frederik de Backer has been identifying fantastic animals per each and every course walk. And I think ending on a leopard, Frederik, is fantastically apt. Thank you very much. Frederik de Backer, come back into commentary. He will be guiding you through both rounds of the GCL Super Cup final. And we'll see you again shortly, and we'll hear from him again in a few moments' time. Frederik de Backer with lovely analysis, as always, as to what to expect today in this Super Grand Prix, Super Cup final, I beg your pardon. Round 1 starting in a few moments' time. Then, of course, a second round later on tonight. Sophie Hinners is going to play a big role for the Canstars, powered by the Iron Dame. She's had an outstanding year for the team, of course, playing a massive role in guiding them into that championship victory. Managed to take some time to sit down with Sophie earlier on and just get some thoughts on how she feels and how her team feels ahead of today's big final.
Please give a big round of applause for Sophie Hinners, everyone.
Sophie, the week started really nicely for you here in Riyadh by being crowned the GCL Rider of the Year. I'm sure that Iron Dames and the Canstars are very happy to have the best rider of the season, part of their team.
Yeah, it was very special for me to receive that award, and was also a little surprise. But I felt very honored, and I think the whole team was very happy. I feel like it's not something I received, it's also something we received together, because without that team it wouldn't be possible, and also without the Iron Dames and especially Deborah's support, I would not stand there. So I have the feeling it's more something what we all got together, and yeah, it was something very special. It was really exciting in the end. But yeah, the goal was completed, so we were very happy to be in the top 6 and to go into the Super Cup final on Saturday. And there we start from 0 again, so then we are, I think, super happy that it went well in the end for us. So this is everything what counted for us yesterday, to make a new plan and to fight tomorrow. It's always good, I think, to be in the end of the class. It also showed up yesterday. Katrin knew exactly what she had to do. Like, she knew when she had one down, she needs to go fast and take a risk. And she did that, so luckily it went well for us. So to be the first one is maybe not the best position, but yeah, we will make the best out of it. And on the other hand, it's also, yeah, you have nothing in your head what you have to keep in mind. So there's result-wise no pressure. So maybe we can also go with a clear head inside. Yeah, just think about the positive things. I think we maybe go a bit more in discussion, but I think that the plan is that Janne and Messi are going, Katrin with Kalamandia, and I will ride my Prince. First of all, the ring is super nice to ride in. It's a big ring. Also yesterday under the lights, it was a very cool atmosphere. I think it was a good and also tough or technical class yesterday. So yeah, I hope we stay with a bit the same technical and height situation than we had yesterday, because yeah, it's 2 rounds tomorrow. So a lot of results are counting, and I think it comes automatically that the teams yeah, go apart from each other. And I don't know what we have to expect. I heard that last year in Prague the semi-final was a very, very big class. So yesterday I was already a little bit nervous before what we gonna expect. But I think it was a very, very fair class yesterday. Yeah, I think we are a very special team. The whole project Iron Dames is something very special. I think compare us with the other teams, I have the feeling we are much more connected with each other, much more one family. I think this is also a huge difference.
Sophie Hinner's absolutely nailing the predicted lineup, because it is indeed my prince, Kalamandia and Messi van der Rautershof that will come out for the Canstars. Sophie Hinners, Katrien Ackermann and Jana Frederika Meyer-Zimmermann will be the three riders to be first out the gate. Right after them, in fact, will be the Scandinavian Vikings, arguably the fairy tale story of the Super Cup thus far. Wouldn't that be a dramatic story if they were to make it onto the podium later on tonight? Scandinavian Vikings, Donald Whittaker, Sarah Vanglakova and Jør Frieling will come out. And in fact, I believe Rosie Turner standing by alongside with Geert Gulliksen to get some thoughts on how they are feeling ahead of today's final.
Yeah, thank you. Geert, what a phenomenal week it's been for the Scandinavian Vikings. Did you believe that you might be in this final?
Yeah, if you didn't believe that it was possible, you better stay home. But I must say, you know, like against all odds, you know, like it's to be in the top 6 for any team is very difficult. You see, number 7 is Falkensvard United, which is a top team. You know, as many top teams didn't make the top 6, so become 5th in that semi-final. That was a really achievement, you know, and it was a really teamwork, you know.
Donald has come in and been absolutely fantastic to produce those clears. I've noticed you brought Sarah in, you're under 25 for the final. What an opportunity you've given her.
Yeah, but it's also important. We have to build these riders that come into this league to improve their riding standard, and to improve, they have to try and learn from it. And through our team, it gives them a chance. Because in many top teams, these young girls or boys would not be able to do that. But through our team, we give them the possibilities to grow and take part in the big sport.
It's really important for the future of the sport as well. You've had a minute to look at the course. What are you thinking about it?
I think, first of all, the course design has done an unbelievable good job this week. You know, it's been very good sport, no disasters, and I think the same today looks very, very good. It's you know, like you get going nicely over number 1 and you jump 2 to 3, 7, you know, like it's all nice distances. You can get to the fences. I could have gone through everything in detail, but
well, we won't for now. We'll let Frederick do that in a bit, but thank you.
It's a nice course, and I think it's going to be a good competition.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Take nothing away from the fact that the Scandinavian Vikings will not get a better chance at landing on the podium. We were talking about this earlier on. In fact, never before will you go to a GCL stage and be given a 50% opportunity of landing on the podium. And now that is the statistic that lies in wait for the fairy tale story of the GCL Super Cup. We are joined in studio, Fredrik de Backer, once more. We're here to talk about some storylines, some statistics, some interesting topics that are jumping out for us in the final. We had Gilles Thomas in here a little bit earlier on talking about the fantastic Hermitage Cologne who jumped the Super Grand Prix yesterday, and it got me thinking that there are a few horses on today's starting lineup that were involved yesterday. I imagine the topic of freshness comes up. Remind me as to who then was in action yesterday that doubles up again today, and how much of this topic of freshness becomes a conversation.
You had Electric Blue with Max Kühner, who actually rode a very fast round in the second round, had 1 down. That's a horse that jumped 2 rounds already and will now jump again 2 rounds in this Super Cup final. Katanga van der Dingeshof with Nicolas Philippas. Remember the difficult first round, the brilliant second round. Now that's a horse, just like Electric Blue, by the way, that's a horse with experience, with stamina and with blood. So those horses have got that natural energy, the natural spark. They don't need much to ignite. That's a very positive thing in a horse, especially if you have to jump 2 big rounds, 2 consecutive days. It's a different story for Impress K van Kattenheijen with Thibaut Spitz. It's a 9-year-old, so it's like in humans, you know, you build condition, you build stamina over the years, and that horse has not done these, because this is a championship, this is championship material, and Impress hasn't had that exposure just yet. So for him, it's a wait and see. We have to discover it. Thibaut Spitz knows what he feels under the saddle. He jumped a very good second round. We'll learn it ourselves as we go along. Has this horse still got energy in it? How much is there left in the tank? And then there's Messi van der Rautershof. If you look at him, with Janne Meyer, if you look at him, he's not the kind of horse that really oozes freshness and sparkle. However, he's a Cannes Grand Prix winner. In the ring, he's a consistent clear round jumper. somewhere they must be confident that the horse has got it in it. Now, as I heard you speak, and I also heard the interview with Gilles Thomas, I thought Gilles Thomas is right. It was a very, very fair Grand Prix yesterday. So horses, they had to dig deep, but they didn't go over their limits. You know, sometimes you can have courses or classes that horses come out and go. And I did not see that with these horses. They jumped it with freshness. The course demanded a lot, but didn't take a lot out of those horses. So I'm actually, especially with Electric and with Katanga, I'm confident there. With Impress, we'll have to see. And with Messi, actually, I think he's on the safe side.
Quite contrastingly, then, you have these horses that have jumped a really big class last night and come in here today, because we have a handful of horses on the start list, in fact, that are perhaps lacking that really big class as well. And some riders might describe that as freshness. Other riders tell us that their horses get better the more they jump. What riders have horses that maybe we are questioning whether or not the lack of a big class might prove to be a problem here tonight?
And it's not even the lack of a big class, it's maybe the lack of a second class, because all these horses already have jumped one small meter 45 class. But I'm thinking, remember what happened yesterday with Just Be Gentle and Kukuk. In the end, I do think he feels that he maybe gave the mare one round too little. He should have jumped one round more to just have it relaxed on the floodlights. If I look at, for example, My Prince with Sophie Hinners, jumped on Wednesday. Today we're Saturday. Of course, the horse has been out and has been worked, but not with the same intensity. How will he handle? Because he didn't jump that day on Wednesday on the floodlight. Same with Tupid La Roque. She's an experienced mare. The floodlight will not do anything to her, but if she develops a little bit of tension in a technical course, we know that she can get a little bit strong. And I'm going back to that Just Be Gentle scenario. And the same I have with Kobe of Philippe Weishaupt. He's an ultra careful horse. He's 100%, he's got the last respect for a fence, and often you see that Weishaupt has to ride to get over the back rail because the horse is backing off so much under these floodlights that those colors and the shine of those fences will come out even more. So if you balance those two stories, horses that have jumped a lot of rounds or less rounds, I'd be more worried about the horses that have jumped not enough than the horses that have jumped too much, if that makes sense.
If we're talking, it does absolutely make sense. If we're talking about horses a lot here, we're trying to put the focus on the horses, which are the stars of the show, we'll tell you. There is something very special on the cards here as well for Killer Queen and for Point Break, because if you're on the cusp of something very, very special, remind us, what is it that, because of jumping a quarterfinal, that Killer Queen and Point Break find themselves now on the verge of potentially doing?
No horse has ever jumped the quarterfinal, the semi-final, and the 2 rounds in the final clear. No horse has jumped 4 clear rounds before, and this is already our 6th Global Champions League Super Cup.
Showing how difficult that is.
And of course, if you're a top 4 team, you only jump the semi-final and the final. I know, but we're looking at the bigger picture, the continuous producing of clear rounds. Shanghai Swans were already the first team ever to jump a clean sheet in the quarterfinal. They jumped for clear, and 4 in the semis, and now Point Break and Killer Queen can become the first horses in Super Cup history to jump all 4 rounds clear. As well as Mila. Mila last year jumped double clear in the final in Prague and can do it now again with Owen McMahon. So there's a little bit of extra attention that goes out to Mila, that goes out to Point Break, and that goes out to Killer Queen. Killer Queen, who in the regular season was, I think it was 6 out of 8 or something. No, it was those in general, but just the consistency that those guys have been developing. Who is the one that's going to do it the most? I think it's going to be Killer Queen. Point Break yesterday or in the semi-final needed a lot of motivation. I'm not going to call it pressure, but drive to go around. So yeah, for Ben, he's going to feel it a little bit that he needs to support Point Break to get that second, that third and that fourth clear on the board.
Let's talk average penalties for these teams per round. We like to use season statistics to give us a bit of an indication as to how these teams come into the final. Now, let's make this clear. This has nothing to do with the Super Cup. This is what has been produced by these riders and these horses throughout the year. Now, we can try and use the numbers to give us some perspective on how they look. And if you go on to win a quarterfinal, you win a semi-final, and the average penalties drops as low as 2.6 into a final with Point Break and Killer Queen. Wow, Shanghai look very, very dangerous here. But give us perspective, Fredrik. Talk us through this and remind us exactly how and why we get to these numbers.
Shanghai is in there with, of course, those good results of those two, of Killer Queen, of Point Break, and of Mayer over the regular season, and of the overall, 0.6 penalty per round average of Max Kuhner's Electric Blue Pea. That's an incredible statistic. On the other hand, you've got horses in there that have had some higher ranks, higher results over the season that bring their statistic down, but it's just over the entire season, and it does give you a little bit of an indication. But did you also see that it took Can Stars off the podium?
Exactly, because now again, remind us how someone might be thinking, but Frederick, this is a GCL championship winning team. We are doing this purely based on the horses that have been selected for this.
Exactly, and you can only pick 3 horses. For example, Can Stars, powered by Iron Dames, did not pick Sinclair. Sinclair jumped the quarterfinal, the semi-final. So they had to move their team around. The rider can't ride 2 rounds, 2 horses in this class. But it's interesting to see how that is going to play out with Shanghai Swans on paper, on numbers, on stats. The team to beat, the team to win the Super Cup for the 2nd time, and no team has ever won the Super Cup twice.
Before I let you go, we talk about redemption very often. We often use the GCL Super Cup as an opportunity of redemption. It's for teams that have performed badly in seasons gone by. It is for teams that have not performed well in the year. I think we've identified for Stockholm and for Shanghai that this is a really, really important night. And remind us from a redemption perspective, why then for those 2 teams in particular, taking nothing away from Kanstars, Riesebeck, etc., why for Stockholm and why for Shanghai can this be a real turning point based on what has been done in the past before?
Scandinavian Vikings is a team that have the world #1 on their roster, and in the end they finished 13th of 14 teams, second last. The world #1 is not here, and yet those mid-season signings, Whittaker, Nicola Paul, Jure Vrieling, alongside with Sarving Raukova, who was part of the team from the beginning, defy the odds and come into this championship. Now, it's about honor. It's about showing what you have. It's about showing your talent and your quality. There's also a financial aspect. There's 2.5 million that goes to the team. Yeah. What is it, 6.5 in this entire competition? I mean, Geir Gulliksen manages a team. We know that there's no team with more sponsor logos on it than Scandinavian Vikings, and that's what he does. And that's how he puts his team together.
Business, yeah.
That's the business. So he needs results to keep those sponsors happy, to give those sponsors exposure, and that's why this is important for Scandinavian Vikings. Shanghai Swans, again. I was the one who said they're going to win the championship. I don't know what your opinion was on the team at the beginning of this season.
I recall us both putting money on Shanghai because they looked so dangerous. They looked so good.
There we go, and we've lost, but I do feel that we have to put money on them again here tonight because they're in a unique position. They were 10th in the regular championship, eliminated twice. I mean, eliminated twice. And that is of course, also the context of their 10th place finish. They were eliminated twice, but they didn't score any points. So it all has to be put in the right perspective. But still, that's out of 15 stages, so 13 stages where they could have been on the podium, which they did only 2 or 3 times. 1 win in Shanghai. This is the one for them, and I know that the team tries to keep the pressure off. Team management, team owners saying, no, we want to win every stage, but it's nothing special. It's not redemption. This is redemption, trust me.
Because in one evening, and I know, to be fair, it's over a quarter-final, a semi and a final, but once you are here at this point, you are a few hours away. You are one evening away from not just your pot of 2.5 million, but as you say, to completely turn around any form of disappointment, anything that did not work your way. This erases that almost to a full degree and gives you that trophy. It gives you the status. It gives you the prize money. It changes the entire year.
Come 2026, will you think about Shanghai Swans finishing 10th in the regular season or winning the Super Cup?
That's it.
The title will stay, not the 10th place.
Super Cup champions has the ability to completely erase any failures that may have happened throughout the year, and that's what makes tonight, that's what makes this final so incredibly special. Of course, the Kanstars, powered by the Iron Dames, will be looking to try and wrestle that title away. They want to do what Riesebeck International did last year, to become the first ever team to do the domestic double, to win the championship and then win the Super Cup as well. They're first to go, they're early to go. We know that after a disappointing semi, but team owner Deborah Meyer is still incredibly confident that the team selected today can do the goods as they look to try and complete that double.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Alongside me now is Deborah Meyer, and wow, what a fairy tale it would be if the Kanstars, powered by Iron Dames, could pull this off tonight. How are you feeling? What are your thoughts ahead of it?
It would be absolutely amazing, a dream come true. But being here is already an achievement, something which is exceptional and outstanding, and for which I'm very proud.
crowd. How tense was the semi-finals? They only got in by just over 2.5 seconds, I think.
I think, as I said, my heartbeat stopped. It's super tense. On a scale of 0 to 100, I was like 2,000. So it was really tense, but well, a lot of emotions.
You've got Jana, Katrin and Sophie riding for you this evening. What have the talks been before this, particularly after the semi-finals? It didn't go according to how they wanted it to go.
It's a very high-level, top-notch competition, so it's very technical. You have to be focused. Important is to be in the final. We enter in the final very focused and concentrated, and then we'll see.
Lastly, how proud are you about how this family, as you call it, just keeps growing, and how many fans you have around it, but particularly how close it's become?
I'm extremely proud and emotional. I'm grateful for what for everything which has come. It's beyond words, and seeing the Iron Dames family grow and expand is a blessing.
Massive good luck this evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and good luck. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed from Deborah Meyer. She talks about the project. She talks about the dream and the vision of what was the Iron Dames project with the Cannes Stars this year. And to call it a success, well, that is a major understatement, because it has been so much more than that. It has been quite simply groundbreaking to see a completely renovated team, a brand new team that has new riders, new horses, new branding, new jumpers, new kits, new everything come in and shock and win everything in the Global Champions League season. It has been a phenomenal season for the Cannes Stars, and Deborah Meyer, team owner there, has played a major role in guiding that ship along, and she has such a hands-on approach, and all of the riders have nothing but compliments to say about her ownership and management style. And there is a reason why there is that super positive vibe in the Cannes Stars, who, I remind you, will be first out the gate today. A difficult semi-final means that they start early. Sophie Hennes, Kathrin Ackermann and Jana Fredrika Meyer-Zimmermann will be first out the gate in GCL round 1. Rosie Turner has been running around getting interviews as well as we continue to build up to the start time today. And if I'm not mistaken, she is talking to Fernando Martinez Somo. I did speak to him a few moments ago. The Mexican is not jumping today for the Prague Lions. Niels Bruinseels, Thibaut Spitz and Peter de Vos are the 3 selected, but teammates Fernando Martinez Somo catches up with Rosie.
Yeah, I've got Fernando Martinez Sommer alongside of me now in the quarterfinals, just the final one down, but clear in the semi-finals. You've got an easy day today, Fernando. You've just got to watch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm just here to support my team, and hopefully we have a good day.
And how are the team feeling ahead of this? Because to be in the final is incredible, but it's 2 big rounds this evening.
Yeah, I think horses are feeling good. The riders also. They've been jumping good through the week. So the horses look ready for these 2 rounds.
Thibaut obviously jumping in Press K yesterday as well. How fresh do you think he's going to be today?
Yeah, it looks like, you never know, right? But on paper looks like a tough task to do yesterday and today. But he did it so easy that I don't think the horse took so much to do yesterday's 2 rounds. So normally he will feel good today.
You've had a little look at the course as well. What do you make of it? Where do you think the toughest part of the course is going to be?
I definitely think a little bit in the end from 8 to 9. There's an option there in the 9 outside or the 8 to the Oxer. And then it's a little bit flat, those 5 to the double. I think the horses are a little bit in the end of the course. Everything is a bit open. So maybe it's going to cause a little bit some faults.
Will you be watching on Kiss and Cry this evening, or do you find it quite tricky to watch?
No, absolutely. I'll be there.
Well, listen, you'll be cheering on your team this evening. Good luck.
Thank you.
Always a smile on the face of Fernando Martinez Sommer. Lady and Fernando Martinez Sommer jumping earlier on this week. No finals appearance for him. Origi, Impress K and Tupi de la Roque have been selected for this opening round by Anna Kellnerova. Let's talk about some figures. Let's try and put some numbers. Let's try and put some history behind today's GCL Super Cup final. And let's talk about how many teams have found themselves in this situation. Because in the 2024 Super Cup final, there are some teams that have become quite comfortable, have become quite used to being in this scenario. But not every team in today's final has such experience. This is the history of the GCL Super Cup final, and just how many times each of these teams have found themselves in this position. Now, the Shanghai Swans, we talk about their redemption, we talk about them trying to turn around a poor season as previous winners as well. And as Freddie de Backer said, they've already won a GCL Super Cup before. They know what it is like to be here and to win it. They've had 3 Super Cup finals in their history. Razorback International, of course, the defending champions. They too have been here before and won it on this stage. They have experience in this setting. Over the history of the Super Cup, the Prague Lions have only been into the final 2 times. Count Stars have only ever been here once before. The same for the Scandinavian Vikings. And believe it or not, for a team as dangerous as the Stockholm Hearts, they have yet to ever make an appearance in the GCL Super Cup final. That today changes for the very first time. After progressing out of the semi-final, finally now the Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M We Love Horses, will make their first appearance, their debut appearance in the GCL Super Cup final. Let's talk about the prize pool. Freddie de Backer threw out a really big number earlier on today, 2.5 million euro up for grabs here in the Super Cup. And that's not even just the total Super Cup. In fact, there's over 11 million euros up for grabs throughout the entire playoff. But here tonight alone, 6.5 million euros are up for grabs, with 2.5 million going to the first place team. For those that make it onto the podium, there's a 1.5 million price tag and a 1 million price tag for those in third. So if you're getting onto the podium, you are guaranteed to make €1 million or more, depending on where you finish. And even a last place finish, a 6th place finish, to show you the benefit of making it into the final, you will take home €300,000 simply by finishing in 6th place. So rich is the prize, so big is the prize pool, that is exactly what is up for grabs here tonight in that GCL Super Cup final. And how much money is up for grabs? Rosie Turner, perhaps one final time before we get into round 1 here of the GCL Super Cup. Let's talk about the energy, let's talk about the feeling, let's talk about what exactly you're seeing there inside the warm-up area. I imagine that perhaps the Count Stars, Scandinavian Vikings in particular, are just moments away from doing their final wrap as they come out quite early. What are you getting from a sense of energy out there, Rosie, before we get underway?
Yeah, well, I have to say, Mark, one of the things that's really struck me is that we've only got 6 teams this evening. That's only 18 riders. And you can really tell it feels a lot quieter this evening compared to other evenings where we've had a lot of teams and a lot of riders going. So it's a really nice energy, actually. You can just see we've got the Scandinavian Vikings warming up. Sarah there just going over a couple of fences. We've also got Sophie Hinners just walking round here on her lovely grey Iron Dames, my Prinz. Just getting ready, looking very calm and collected, actually. Jana Frederick Meyer-Zimmerman also has been jumping. Don't forget that Messi also jumped the Super Grand Prix last night as well. So 2 big rounds then, 2 big rounds today. But, I mean, Messi is one horse that you cannot discount from this evening. Absolutely incredible. But that is a point that, you know, is worth making, as some of these teams do have a horse that have jumped the Super Grand Prix last night. In fact, only 2 teams this evening come in with 3 horses with fresh legs, and one of those is Scandinavian Vikings. What a fairy tale story that would be. Donald Whittaker, let's talk about him. He came in just for the playoffs for this team, and he has only gone clear for them, and it really sets the tone for the team. He will be going first this evening like he did in the semi-finals, and it really sets the tone for the team to go clear. It really boosts the morale, boosts the confidence for the next couple of riders as well. Sarah, the under-25 rider in that team, and Jörg Vreeling was the mid-season transfer into that team, so it's a relatively new team as well, but I know that they've gelled incredibly well and they're going to be working towards this. It's really lovely to watch them warm up over relatively small fences as well, Mark. They start off very small, like you can see Jana jumping in the middle there, and these fences go up very, very quickly. As we know, Mark, those fences in that arena are big. They're wide, they've got fillers, they are intimidating. These horses have seen it all before. But I tell you what, when you get in there with the atmosphere, it's a whole different ball game.
Absolutely, Rosie. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. I know there's a lot to be happening later on tonight. And in fact, you'll be heading out to the Kiss and Cry as well to try and get some of that instant reaction from these teams. And because of the start list, by the way, we know when it comes to the Kunstars that Kiss and Cry is always jam-packed. We'll see half a dozen pink caps inside that Kiss and Cry, watching every single round of Hinnes Ackerman and Meyer Zimmerman. But ladies and gentlemen, there the music cues. We are ready for the start of the Global Champions League Super Cup final. Round 1 of 2 about to get underway in a few moments' time. 2.5 million euros up for grabs for the winner. Ladies and gentlemen, this is GCTV, this is Riyadh, and this is the start of the GCL Super Cup final.
This is it, ladies and gentlemen. The Global Champions League Super Cup final, the final day of the Global Champions playoffs in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We are in Riyadh, we are in the King Abdullah Financial District, and we are ready for the showdown. It started on Wednesday with the quarter-final. 10 teams, 8 through, 2 were sent home. Then on Thursday, 12 teams, 6 through and 6 home. And those remaining 6 are still standing and are now fighting for this trophy, for this cup, for the Super Cup. 6 teams, including the Can Stars, powered by Iron Dames, the season champions, made it in by a bit of luck, just by a hair. Then the surprise, the fairy tale story. It is Scandinavian Vikings. And then Prague Lions, powered by Czech Equestrian Team, will be third to go, 5th team in the regular season. For the first time in the final, Stockholm Heart, powered by H&M Wheel of Horses. And then the last 2, the ruling Super Cup winners, Riesenbeck International, powered by Kingsland. And last to go, favourites, dominant force, is Shanghai Swans with Meyer, Deusser and Kühner on the roster. Here we are in the King Abdullah Financial District for the first round of this final. That means that there are 2 rounds, obviously. And the starting order of the first round is decided or based on the results of the semi-final. The starting order of the second round is reversed of the result of round 1. That's how easy it is. So the best team in round 1 will be last to go in round 2. Is that an advantage? Going last in round 2? Well, it does. Only in 2018 did the semi-final winners not go on to win the final, but only once did the round 1 leaders not win the final. Now that was Can Stars in 2019. These are the previous winners. In 2018, Madrid Emotion lifted the trophy for the first time. The Swans can do it now this weekend for the second time. London Knights in 2021, it was not a championship year for them. The Celtics with that fairy tale story, and Riesenbeck International, powered by Kingsland, did it last year as the first team to win the Super Cup as the league's champions. Let's have a look at some of the highlights of the semi-final. Scandinavian Vikings, when they came in, it was unclear on whether their result would stand. But they were 5th in the semi-final. Even outperformed the Can Stars, powered by Iron Dames, Valkenswaard United and Ron Gladiators. And so thumbs up from Nicolas Paul, who is not part of the team this evening. Valkenswaard out, same score as Can Stars, but 2.5 seconds slower. Then the 6th ranked team, then the Can Stars. And so Valkenswaard already at home. Shanghai Swans, outstanding, as mentioned, dominant in the quarter-final. just a single rail in the semi-finals from Alman and Mandato, who is now on the team for this final. It's Ben Mayhem, it's Doysum, it's Kuhne, Point Break, Killer Queen and Electric Blue. Doha Falcons for the first time straight into the semi-final. That has to be an advantage, doesn't it? No, it isn't. A very early high score of Julien Anquetin knocked them straight out of the race for a spot in the final. Rails kept falling. So the Doha Falcons, for them, it is a short travel home here from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Even Luc de Meevam sucking in his teeth. But George, the 9-year-old, jumped a fantastic clear. It was a rail for Philipp Schulze-Tophoff. But luckily, there's always Mila, and there is Owen McMahon to take it through. And the Kaiser, still full of emotion. CanStars were last to go in that semi-final. Oh, and it was not going well, especially when rails started to tumble in the rounds of Akota M and Natalie Deem after the clear of Sophie Hinnes. An extra rail with Katrin Eckermann and Iron Danes Kalamandia put them on 12, and as mentioned, in the end they were just 2.5 seconds faster than Valkenswaard, which put CanStars in the final and not Valkenswaard United. This is the course that has been designed for this first round. Second round is jumped over a different course. 1-2 is actually a long loop. Here it says that the Oxer jumps you into the arena. It actually jumps you out of the arena. And then you have to recorrect your trajectory in the approach to fence 2. With that good flow, it will be very easy to sit at the inside of this lamp, but you have to stay out, stay wide as long as possible. This says that it's an outside turn. I believe we'll see an inside, there it is, yeah, it is an inside turn to the wall. And then 7 strides normally, maybe slightly forward if you have a slow jump. 7 strides to the Rijal Alma Oxer. Again, a long gallop. Well, you can win some time, but you cannot override the delicate plank. Meter 60, and it's a touch higher. And then it is 6 strides through the center in the combination. Oxer is positioned, and then vertical to come out. So 2 Oxers, huge effort in the middle of this course. And then the vertical to come out stands taller than all the Oxers in this combination. First jump the vertical, stay straight, and then look at this fence number 8. It comes at a handful of strides, followed by another Oxer. Again, a very delicate vertical first that leads into that Oxer. Again, take your time to jump the vertical first and then start looking at the Oxer. Otherwise, you get stuck on the inside line and land deep. It is 7 strides, and if you walk it, 5 strides. If you walk it, feels like they could get a touch long, but it's better to get a touch too long than too deep, because the vertical is very tall coming into that combination. Combination goes into the corner, as you can see. Vezzani and Paolo Rosato and the team have positioned those fences smartly, asking a lot of control, a lot of concentration and focus from both riders and horses. And how about now determination? Is it an outside 8? Is it an inside 7? The outside 8 gets you the smaller jump over the widest Oxer of the course, and the 3, no matter what you ride, 7 or 8, the 3 will always be short. Walk short, will ride short, and especially if you come flying in on 7, you have to have a ridden 7 to the base of the Oxer, so that you don't come in flying. You'll take and the front rail out and then get too deep to the 3 as well. Lots of lines, strides, and distances to analyze. As we now look at the starters order, Hinnes, Eckermann and Meyer Zimmermann. My Prince, Kalamandia, and Messi are the three horses of the team. They are first to go. They don't carry their penalties from the semi-final. They start on scratch. Donald Whittaker, Sarah Vingeralkova and Jur Feeling on a very well jumping Helbel du Chabu. That horse has been developing over the weekend. Prague Lions, powered by the Czech equestrian team, with Niels Bruinseels, with Thibaut Spitz, and with Pieter de Vos, who brings in a very fresh to Piet Larocque. And by the way, just like Messi van der Ruitershof, there was Impress K van Kattenheijen, who jumped yesterday's 2-round Super Grand Prix. So did Katanga van het Dingeshof, with Philippaerts alongside Malin Bayer-Johnson and Julien Empayard. McMahon, Weishaupt and Koekoek, they all have fairly fresh horses for this final. Mila jumped a single round in the semi-final. Electric Blue jumped 2 rounds yesterday, but Point Break and Killer Queen of Meyer and Deuce got a break yesterday. A day's break, could recover, could freshen up, and now we'll crack on. For the final over 2 rounds. Here we go. The Can Stars, powered by Iron Dames. By the skin of their teeth did they make it through. Hugely risky rounds in the semi-final. Started well, that we have to say. It was the clear of Iron Dame Sinclair and Sophie Hinners. Then the 8 of Akota and Natalie Dean. And the 4 penalties with a drift and a wobble of Katin Eckermann and Iron Dames Calamantia put the team on 12. Luckily, they were just faster than Valkenswaard United, and so placed 6th. The last spot in the final reserved for the league champions. My Prince and Sophie Hinners awarded Rider of the Season in her first ever year in the Global Champions League. Doesn't waste any time. Time allowed, by the way, 87 seconds. Well ridden 7. Inside to the wall, straight. Does he have a look? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well controlled. Line coming up. Squares up. Didn't come out of her turn too early. Does land a little on the... No, I thought she was on the inside of the line. Ah, yeah. Too deep to the Oxer. On that inside, the 7 right. Short, walk short. She rolled it through the center, but couldn't get it fitted. Big rub at 9. Good hold for the 5. It's a horse with stride, it's a horse with a lot of forward jump. So she could hold for 5 into 10-8. 7 gets a little bit long. And the 3 now, she sits up and she holds him and she has him over. And the time is good. With Iron Dames, My Prince. Full name, original name, birth name if you wish. My Prince van Dorperheide, bred by the Philippaerts family. And Hinners puts the team on 4 penalties straight away, handing over to Katrien Eckermann, Iron Dames Calamandia. Calamandia with a rail in the semi-final. Ooh, stayed low there, rolled over her shoulder and a strong touch. Ekman also with the inside turn. That's an extra stride. I think I saw 8. The blank jumps it also on the inside. And on 6. Flimsy upright, very gappy, only 3 rails. Eckermann has to ride up where Hinners have to hold, and there goes the rail on the forward 5. Team on 8. And there's another one gone. Oh, the CanStars in troubled water. It is 8 penalties for Katin Eckermann and Iron Dames Kalamantia, who is yet to jump her first clear this weekend for the team. And it is 12 now, and ooh, the face of Eckermann is very disappointed. That was the line. Did she do 8 here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, the pale rails. She did not want to risk a rub from Kalamantia and rode the extra stride. Time-wise, 79.86 seconds. Well, that's probably why she rode the 8 in that first line that we had the replay of. Last rider is Janne Frederike Meijer-Zimmerman with Messi van het Ruitershof. This horse jumped yesterday's Super Grand Prix over 2 rounds. How fresh is he with another 2-round competition in front of him, ahead of him? Eckermann did 8. Janne Meijer does not override. She really takes her time in that long loop from Rijal Alma Oxer up to the launching plank. Jumps that really well, rode it good as well, as if her life depended on it. Deep, confident. Waiting, 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 gets a little bit stuck, now has to push. And there goes the back rail. The Iron Dames do not jump a single clear in the first round. And they are on 16. Minimum winning score in the past of this Super Cup has been 7. The highest winning score in the past has been 12. And now this team is already on 16.
A far from ideal start for the CanStars, powered by the Iron Dames. Not a single clear from all 3 riders. Sophie Hinners, Kathrin Eckermann and Janne Frederike Meijer-Zimmerman all having fences down. They now are already on a score of 16 at the halfway point. At the end of round 1, your season champions CanStars are on 16 penalties. The fairy tale story of the Scandinavian Vikings are next. If you want to watch them and the rest of the GCL Super Cup final, make sure you sign up for your GCTV pass. This is the final day of the season. 2.5 million euros up for grabs. Come join us for the rest of the Super Cup final. It's live from Riyadh.